Good morning. Our briefing today dissects a frequently overlooked yet absolutely critical node in the global automotive value chain. For the last decade, market attention and capital has been disproportionately allocated to software and battery technology. This, we argue, represents a profound strategic miscalculation. The true bottleneck, the actual single point of failure for the entire sector, resides not in the digital domain, but in the physical layer. Today, we will deconstruct the strategic hegemony of Sumitomo Electric. Our analysis will proceed through a rigorous six-part framework. We will begin with the foundational physics of the core component and build, layer by layer, to its ultimate geopolitical ramifications. The objective is to demonstrate precisely how a component, long perceived as a low-margin commodity, has been strategically weaponized to achieve an unassailable market position. To begin, we must correct a fundamental conceptual error that is prevalent across the industry. The automotive wire harness is not a mere component. It is, for all intents and purposes, the vehicle's physical operating system. It is the non-negotiable substrate upon which all digital ambitions are built. Without it, the most sophisticated software is simply inert. Let us first consider the physical reality. In a premium vehicle, this single system can have a mass exceeding 50 kilograms. This is not some ancillary part. This is a primary engineering constraint that directly impacts vehicle dynamics, energy efficiency, and the total bill of materials. Crucially, this is a mass that cannot be optimized away with code. It is the first layer of an exceptionally complex problem. Now consider the complexity. A single harness can have up to 30,000 individual termination points. The engineering challenge here is immense, but the economic impact is what's truly critical. A single point of failure, one miscrimped terminal out of 30,000, can render a six-figure asset completely inoperable. The strategic outcome of this is a state of inherent, built-in fragility across the entire industry. And at the center of this complexity sits Sumitomo Electric, which commands a full 25% of the global market. Statistically, this means that 1 out of every 4 vehicles produced on the planet relies on their physical architecture. This level of market concentration in a component defined by such extreme complexity creates a profound and dangerous dependency for the entire automotive sector. This dependency manifests as systemic fragility. The war in Ukraine provided a stark, real-world stress test. A localized disruption in harness production led to the suspension of automotive assembly lines across an entire continent, not in months, but in days. The failure of this single, non-redundant component cascaded through the system, exposing the catastrophic risks baked into our just-in-time manufacturing models. This leads us to a pivotal question: why has this dependency not been disrupted? The answer lies at the core of Sumitomo's competitive advantage. It lies in the documented and very expensive failure of robotics to automate the assembly of flexible components. This has created a defensible moat built not on digital principles, but on physical ones. What we see here is a direct collision of two operational philosophies. On one hand, you have the Silicon Valley paradigm, epitomized by Tesla's alien dreadnought factory, a belief in digital certainty. On the other, you have Sumitomo's deep mastery of physical entropy. The technical reality is that flexible wires behave with non-rigid, chaotic unpredictability. The economic consequence for Tesla was a quiet but exceptionally costly retreat from full automation. The strategic outcome? A resounding validation of Sumitomo's expertise in managing irreducible physical complexity. Sumitomo's competitive moat is not rooted in silicon or software, but in the principle of kansei. This is the sensory skill, the expert intuition of their 250,000-person workforce. It is what allows them to manage a level of complexity that has proven insurmountable for the most advanced robotics. This craftsmanship moat represents a formidable, human-centric barrier to entry that digital native companies have fundamentally failed to replicate. The verdict from this industrial experiment is unequivocal. The attempt to solve a physics-based challenge with a software-centric ideology was a failure. In the operational environment of a vehicle, subject to constant vibration, thermal stress, and moisture, the laws of physics are simply non-negotiable. Code cannot repeal them. Sumitomo has leveraged this unautomatable moat to execute a brilliant strategic pivot. They have elevated their position from being a mere component supplier to becoming a system architect. In doing so, they are compelling automakers to cede significant control over the fundamental design of their own vehicles. Let's analyze this triple-layer expansion of their influence. First, at the technical root, their optical harness technology provides the electromagnetic immunity that is an absolute prerequisite for level 4 and 5 autonomy. The economic impact? They become the gatekeeper to the next generation of automotive tech. Second, their shift to a zonal architecture with integrated ECUs forces OEMs into design lock-in. Automakers must now architect their platforms around Sumitomo's proprietary modules. And third, their new aluminum alloys reduce vehicle mass, extending EV range and creating a green premium that competitors cannot easily match, giving them powerful leverage in regulated markets. The net result of these maneuvers is a fundamental inversion of the traditional supplier-OEM relationship. Automakers, who have historically been the system integrators, now find themselves in a position where they must abdicate a significant degree of their architectural sovereignty. They are no longer dictating specifications to a supplier, they are integrating a predefined system that dictates the core layout of their own product. This architectural control is now expanding into the geopolitical domain. Sumitomo's dominance of the physical layer has transcended mere corporate strategy. It has become a matter of national economic security. The Ukraine crisis provided a stark, real-world demonstration of this very vulnerability. The immediate cessation of harness production in the region exposed the wire harness as the true Achilles heel of the global automotive supply chain. It proved in no uncertain terms that without this one specific, labor-intensive product, even the most technologically advanced assembly lines in Europe are rendered inert. In response to this clear and present danger, Sumitomo has executed a calculated geopolitical maneuver. Their 250 billion yen China Plus One strategy is not simple logistical optimization. The establishment of redundant, parallel manufacturing hubs in Morocco for Europe, Mexico for North America, and Vietnam for Asia represents a new service offering, geopolitical resilience as a service, sold to Western economies desperate to de-risk their supply chains. The most accurate strategic parallel here is to view Sumitomo Electric as the TSMC of the physical layer. In precisely the same way that the global economy depends on Taiwan for advanced semiconductors, the automotive industry now depends on Sumitomo for advanced physical connectivity. Consequently, their operational uptime is no longer just a business concern. It is a matter of strategic national interest for the United States and the European Union. Sumitomo's entire strategic position is built on a series of paradoxes that run completely counter to conventional tech investment theses. The high-tech, autonomous future we've been promised is actually being built on a foundation that the market has incorrectly dismissed as a low-tech, dirty commodity business. This central paradox is best framed as the brain versus the nervous system. While the world's largest tech firms focus on developing the vehicle's brain, the AI and software, their efforts are fundamentally limited by the nervous system that carries the data. By controlling this physical network, Sumitomo effectively controls the synapse. They set the physical speed limit. They establish the performance ceiling for the vehicle's AI before a single line of code is written. Furthermore, Sumitomo has effectively weaponized sustainability. Through proprietary recycling systems, they are creating a closed-loop supply chain, literally mining end-of-life vehicles for high-purity raw materials. This strategy grants them a degree of raw material sovereignty, insulating them from volatile commodity markets. But critically, it allows them to offer a carbon-neutral product, creating an insurmountable competitive advantage under emerging ESG regulations. They have transformed a legacy industry into a green monopoly. This analysis brings us to our concluding projection. We forecast a fundamental reordering of the strategic value hierarchy within the automotive sector, a reordering that will define the next decade. By 2035, we project that the brain, the AI and software layer, will become largely commoditized. Software, by its nature, has a near-zero marginal cost of replication. In stark contrast, the nervous system, a globally distributed manufacturing network of 250,000 skilled individuals managing immense physical complexity, is not replicable. This physical infrastructure is the true non-replicable asset in this value chain, and as the ultimate bottleneck for the future of mobility, its strategic value is set to appreciate significantly. For the past decade, the industry has been obsessed with the question of who will build the brain of the car. Our analysis concludes that this was a fundamental misallocation of strategic focus. A brain without a nervous system is merely a theoretical construct, a fantasy. Sumitomo Electric was never building the dream of autonomous mobility. They were building the physical reality upon which that dream is and will continue to be absolutely constrained. Thank you.